good at this. Maybe I have a boxing career out there. I don't know. I like that theme song. I don't know why they were playing it on Rocky, because this is the Ask Brien radio show, AskBrien, with my great co-host Alex Grossman. Alex, you there?
Brian Johnson having a fantastic day in paradise here in Southern California.
Well, every day should be paradise, and every day is paradise if people listen to the Ask Brien radio show, because every week we go over a specific business topic and teach people something about business that they may not know and most likely do not know. And the only way to be more successful in life is to learn more, because knowledge is king. And for those of you who have not listened to the Ask Brien radio show, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing a lot. You're going to learn a lot, and you need to go back and listen to the other prior shows, because Ask Brien, AskBrien, the only way to spell Brian, okay, is a website that basically helps people solve business problems. We have a question and answer site section whereby business owners can ask other business owners problems. So, for instance, an example, I run a dry cleaner in Atlanta, Georgia. I run a dry cleaning shop in Sioux Falls, in the Dakotas, and I have a problem. Well, guess what? Another business owner may have had the same business issue. They handled it in one way, and they can help you out. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. Also, we have experts. Experts are very, very vetted. In order to become an expert, we have to go through their biography. We do a due diligence. We actually check them out, make sure they've had a certain amount of hours. 10,000 is usually a number that we like to have, 10,000 hours in a special subject. Or there are other ways based on writings and media and other accolades, awards, that we can allow somebody with less than 10,000 hours. But that's what we do strive for. Why? Because somebody that's done something for 10,000 hours probably has a good idea what's going on. Not always, but usually. And then the other part of Ask Brien is we have webinar calendars, so people can go onto the site, see a webinar. You know what? I need to learn something about Facebook advertising. You go on, you figure out on your calendar, on your schedule, and you can actually add it onto your own calendar. And that's the Ask Brien website. Ask Brien radio show is just an additional medium whereby we can teach people business solutions to a business problem. And today, we are really, really, really excited because we have a very special guest. Her name is Ashley Crouch, and she is very, very, very experienced in the PR area and media area. And what we're going to learn today is 3 things you can do to get media attention. So you may be a small business owner. You may be running that furniture store. That's my example I always use. You may be running that furniture store down the street, and you want to figure out, how am I going to get into, I don't know, the newspaper, maybe even the radio, maybe even television. So without further ado, do we have Ashley Crouch on the line?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
You have to have some enthusiasm for this show. Okay. All right. So that was a really weird, kind of like I think I still have that Halloween laugh. It's more of a Halloween laugh. All right. A couple of things. First of all, nobody here knows much about you. So my first question is, what is your background? How did you start out in business?
Sure. So thanks for having me on. I am briefly an award-winning visibility strategist. I help entrepreneurs package and share their message for maximum impact. And I run an agency based here in Los Angeles. But when I was getting started, I started out in New York City. And
my hometown.
Really? Oh, fantastic. Yeah, New York's great. I started in New York City back in 2011. I was asked to be on the founding team for a startup fashion magazine, and I had no background at all whatsoever in PR or media, but I took a deep dive into the world of being an entrepreneur. And, we were working around the clock 24/7, nights and weekends, trying to get the word out about our baby startup. Meanwhile, investors, customers, readers were all really skeptical, asking us, why are you launching another fashion magazine in an already saturated market? And, for a lot of authors, coaches, solopreneurs, small business owners, that's a very common experience, right? You feel like you're in a saturated market, not able to stand out. And that was our challenge. So I went to the team and said, look, guys, we need language. We need a story to talk about how we're different and why we should exist. And I branded the magazine as the first no Photoshop fashion magazine to exist, because somewhere in my intuition, I felt that there were so many women in the world and readers who wanted a space where they could read a magazine that believed that women do not need to be altered or manipulated to be celebrated. And so with that, I self-nominated to do the PR campaign around the launch, and I had no media contacts and no background in PR. And without further ado, I started pitching like crazy. And long story short, that campaign went viral around the world. We got 180 media features in 8 months, including the Queen Latifah Show, Entrepreneur, Harper's Bazaar, Fox Business, Upworthy. Basically every national platform was featuring the magazine in 7 countries. And it was about the time the Today Show started contacting us that I realized, wow, media is incredibly powerful. And if only more entrepreneurs knew how to do it, also, they could accelerate their growth faster than ever before. We saw traffic increase from 30,000 views a month to 280,000 views a month in just a couple of weeks. We sold out in Barnes & Noble nationwide and got that investor funding that we were after. We closed 4 rounds of investor funding on that magazine. And the magazine now has 1 million views a month. So it's still alive and well, but it lit a fire under me and inspired me to teach more entrepreneurs how to do these methods, because once you know how to get the story right, your company can significantly accelerate and you can begin to close sales faster, have clients lined up around the block, and, position yourself as the premier go-to expert in your industry.
You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM.
Ashley, that's quite an achievement. I've been around PR and media for a lot of years, and I can tell you, starting from scratch and getting in and learning to talk to the right people and just having them listen to you, I think most small businesses think that getting in a national scale is far beyond what they can even achieve. So taking that and getting that and us understanding, our audience understanding how you've done that would be extremely helpful.
Yes. Well, sure. So again, if I can do it, you can do it. Because I grew up in Arkansas at the end of a dirt road on a farm with 100 chickens. Like, there is nothing in my background that should have prepared me to do this. And so I always tell people, if I can do it, you can do it. And since that time, I've been able to secure placements in Forbes. I've written for Forbes, New York Times, Refinery 29, Huffington Post, Fast Company. There's a system to this, and there's a formula that works. And over time, I've been doing this almost a decade at this point. I've distilled all of these lessons down into a formula and system that is proven, even if you've never been featured anywhere before, even if you're an introvert, even if you have no media contacts. So what I want to tell people is, before you go off and start pitching everyone and their brother, it's best to get clear on the exact reasons why you want to achieve media attention. Okay? So most people come to me and say, I really want to sell more. I want more clients and customers. And that is one of the benefits. However, there are 3 reasons that people really need to understand the benefit of media. One is the exposure. right? It increases your access into a new marketplace of clients and customers you may not otherwise reach through a vetted outlet. Okay, so this is not just Facebook ads. Anytime you see a Facebook ad, you know someone paid to put it there, right? But with media, you know that someone took time out of their day because you were actually awesome enough. So it builds trust and loyalty faster. Number two, so the first one's exposure. The second one is credibility, okay? In the world we live in today, media attention and logos are a sign of credibility, that you are vetted, and that it is social proof. So this is extremely important when you think about a crowded marketplace where you may be trying your best to stand out. Who are you going to, if it was you, we're heading into the holidays, would you rather buy a toy for your child from a handmade website with no testimonies, no reviews, no media attention, or a premier website, media attention from all the top outlets, and raving reviews from happy clients and customers? The answer would be obvious. So credibility is the second reason that media attention is so powerful. And the third reason is often not talked about, and that is positioning. In the world we live in today, and in the world that we're moving into, it is more important than ever that you position yourself as a premier expert. Why? Because studies are showing that by the year 2020, 40 to 50% of American workforce will be freelancers. That means 60 million people. It's been easier to become a business, but it's harder than ever to stand out. So positioning is incredibly powerful, and media gives you that. So those are three things: exposure, credibility, and positioning. But here are the things that often trip people up and cause problems when they are getting media attention. Okay, are you ready for it?
We are ready, and
Go for it.
I just got my laptop out. I can't wait. I got to write them down.
Okay, great. So in my recent Forbes article, I actually called out the PR industry because it's very challenging to know who to trust, how to measure ROI, and often publicists and PR agencies are a waste of time and money for their clients, okay? Which is very challenging to say, but it is the case. And there are three reasons why. One, many times individuals, publicists, and PR agents, they operate by a spray and pray method. What I mean by that is they will pitch you, or you will pitch yourself, everywhere, every blog, every radio show, every podcast, every national outlet, and you spend so much time and effort pitching without a concept of the target customer that you are trying to reach. And there's that old standby approach that says, well, all media is good media, or all attention is good attention. But the truth is, when you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur, you're wearing probably 5 or 6 different hats, and time is limited. So the spray and pray method is not very impactful because you may be featured in the coolest outlet in the world, but if your target customer isn't reading it, it does nothing to grow your business. So that is the first thing. And in order to fix that problem, you need to operate by what I call an empathy-first approach. Now, Brien, I know you've talked about this before, where you have a clear idea of the target customer that you are trying to reach. And it has to be super specific, down to the struggles, challenges, and hopes that they are wanting to achieve or to solve. That way, when you pitch a story, which we're going to get into in a minute, the story that you pitch is most aligned with what they would want to click on or read. Does that make sense? So all of a sudden, you're pitching stories to the platforms with actual headlines that your target customer would want to read. That ensures that you have a higher impact. So that's the first challenge and the first solution. The second challenge is a lack of alignment. So we talked about this a little bit earlier with the outlet. When I have had clients come to me and say, we've been featured in CNBC or the Today Show, or name a top national platform, they've been featured there. But unfortunately, they still have no clients and customers, and they're wondering what to do next. That's when you start to see the feast and famine cycle of scrambling, trying to chase the money train, when this is how you fix it. If you align your media features to the outlets that they are reaching and that they are reading, it will have much more impact than if you get impressive logos they never look at. Okay, so first you have the concept of the target customer and what they would click on. Next, you have a concept of what they would read. Okay, the third problem, and why many publicists are a waste of time and money, is that they often leave the story angle to chance. What I mean by that is, take yourself. You may have many contacts in the media industry, so you think, I would want to get media attention around the holidays for a new campaign that I'm doing for New Year's. And I have a buddy who, writes for the LA Times or Wall Street Journal or Forbes. I'm going to text my buddy and tell him or her about my company, and hopefully I'll get a story out of it. That's called leaving the story to chance, because the right placement and the right story is exponentially more impactful for your company, but you have to hand it to them, the writers, publicists, or the writers in the media. You have to hand it to them on a silver platter. Literally give them the story idea that will be most impactful for you. And what I see a lot of people doing is making an announcement with press releases, and that leaves the story angle to chance. The result is it's not very impactful. So those are the three challenges, and in a minute, I'd be happy to share the three things to do to fix these problems. But, when you get it done the right way and land media attention, you could see clients and customers coming to you months in the future, just from, hearing that podcast 5 months ago, or seeing the media interview that you did, 6 months ago. You could be on their bucket list, and they could literally contact you months later. So the long tail effect and benefit of this is huge, and it's important to do it right.
We're gonna be taking a break in about a minute. So before we do that, you're not going to answer those questions. We want the audience to be salivating. But before that, I do have one question. We only have a minute here, but will you be able to go over a case study where you took, you did the case study with your own business, but you have case studies of clients that you've done this for as well, correct?
Yes, I'd be happy to share multiple case studies of what can happen when this is done correctly.
All right, so we're going to go take a break, and we're going to come back, and then you're going to hear the answers to those three points that you just brought up about problems. We'll be right back. KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Ask Brien, Brien.
The city of Santa Clarita has so much going on this year. Be on the lookout for amazing events happening throughout the year, including the Cowboy Festival, concerts in the park, Thursdays at Newhall, and the Santa Clarita Marathon. There are also a number of fun activities and things to do year-round, including outdoor recreation, hiking and bike trails, adult classes, art exhibits, youth sports programs, and more. You can even sign up to be a volunteer. Learn more at santa-clarita.com.
Live life juiced up at Juice It Up Valencia. Come in and try our great tasting smoothies, protein shakes, acai, and wheatgrass for your healthy lifestyle on the go. Also, enjoy our 10 flavors of tantalizing zinc frozen yogurt and selection of healthy toppings. Juice It Up Valencia is located at the corner of Newhall Ranch Road and Copper Hill Drive in the Office Depot Plaza. Open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. and Sundays from 8 until 8. And remember to live life juiced up at Juice It Up Valencia.
Questions about your water bill? SCV Water is available to answer your questions and help you understand your water bill. They can provide the tips and tools you need to use water more efficiently. Visit yourscvwater.com to manage your account and to pay your bill. Their customer service representatives look forward to helping you. That's yourscvwater.com.
Are you ready for some football? Consumers Furniture is. Come on in and check out our huge selection of Power Motion furniture. We have the largest selection of reclining sectionals, sofas, love seats, and recliners in the Santa Clarita Valley. Fabric or leather, Consumers has the right piece at the right price to make your home ready for all the big games. Need it for this Saturday or Sunday? No problem. Consumers has same-day or next-day delivery on most of our items. Consumers Furniture is located in the Center Point Shopping Center right below Sam's Club and Walmart.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Coming to the Canyon, Santa Clarita. Gin Blossoms, Tower of Power, the Magpie Salute featuring members of the Black Crows, Vince Neil of Motley Crue, Doc Inn, Striper, Faster Pussycat, Jack Russell's Great White, Puddle of Mud, Buck Cherry, The Motels, The Dan Band, Ambrosia, English Beat, Berlin, John Mayall, Rita Coolidge, Blue Oyster Cult, Nancy Wilson of Heart, Wilson Phillips, Australia's Thunder from Down Under, The Smithereens with special guest Marshall Crenshaw, and many more. Plus Throwback Thursdays with Fast Times, Sunday brunch with Santa Clarita's own Savannah Burrows, and it's the perfect place to host your special events. Book your holiday party now. The Canyon, Santa Clarita, where music meets the soul. Tickets available through Ticketmaster.
KHTS. Now FM, 98.1 FM, and AM 1220, your hometown station.
Welcome back to the Ask Brien radio show, 98.1 FM and 1220. I reversed it. What do you think of that? We can't always be 1220 and 98.1. We have to reverse the thing. Why? Because you have to try things out in a different way. When you try things out in a different way, you might be more successful. You know, there's always something about to be said for that. We have a great guest today. We're learning so much information, and sorry we had to put her on hold while we had a commercial break so she could come back with these three great responses. We have a wonderful guest, Ashley Crouch. You there?
Yes, hello.
Okay, so right before break, we'd gone over the three problems, and the three problems basically are, we talked about empathy approach, high impact, getting people to click on whatever we're talking about. Then next, talking about how to get people to lacking alignment and reading. And then we talked about leaving the story in the right placement and getting it to them on a silver platter. And right before the break, you were going to give us three solutions. Do you have those?
I do. And what I want people to understand, while we were on break, we were all talking behind the scenes about how PR is an investment. And a lot of people want to measure ROI, right? So, when you are paying for a Facebook ad or in any of the traditional marketing channels, that's a direct correlated growth metric. You can see, okay, I put $5 down on a Facebook ad, I'm going to get $10 or it's not working. And what I want people to understand about PR is that media is the foundation of your business growth, but you have to do it in the right way. So what do I mean by that? Why is it the foundation of your business growth? Simply put, anyone can put money into a Facebook ad. However, an educated consumer won't take them very long to click through that ad and see whether or not you're actually credible and you're actually an expert. And again, going back to the 3 benefits, media allows you to position yourself in a way that helps that Facebook ad spend or marketing spend or whatever your other marketing channels are to go even farther and to be even more impactful. So media is that foundation piece that you want to get right. Does that make sense?
So actually, you look at it as media or the PR piece is really the supporting factor for the campaign. In other words, it's the meat behind the potatoes. You can put out all great messaging, but if your support isn't there and you don't have a foundation, it's going to fall flat on its face, and you may not get your money back on your marketing if people don't believe your story.
Yes, exactly. And that's why it's so important. But again, what I say is it's really for maximum impact with minimum time or money. Okay, so that's how I like to do business. I'm sure that's how you like to do business. You want maximum impact, minimum time or money. You want to be aiming for the top national platforms. Okay, so this is how what I teach is radically different from every other publicity trainer out there, to my knowledge, because most publicity trainers will say, okay, start small, local blogs, local podcasts, local television shows, and that's a valid and valuable approach. However, if you start with national platforms and you land 1 or 2 breakout stories there that give you the 3 benefits, again, exposure, credibility, and positioning, all the other smaller outlets will come to you seeking to feature you. Why? Because it triggers the domino effect. The smaller outlets then want to be seen as relevant and credible outlets also, that they also have the scoop, right? So at that point, it becomes much easier to pitch yourself for the smaller platforms, which is great news for busy entrepreneurs with limited budget or time famine, okay? So that's something to consider as well. If you're just getting started and you feel like, okay, I have no media contacts whatsoever and I have 1 hour a week, really look at how you're going to get maximum impact for minimum time or money. Spend that 1 hour positioning yourself to pitch for a national platform, and then all the other smaller outlets will come to you. So I want to put that there, and it is a challenge to everyone to really think big with this, because once you land those 1 or 2 outlets, the rest becomes so much easier. So at this point, I think it would be good to go into the 3 key ways that people can pitch themselves. At this point, they're probably thinking, okay, Ashley, that sounds great, but I have no contacts. I don't even know what my story is. And I'm super busy heading to the end of the year. So would you like to hear the top 3 reasons and top 3 ways that I call the new principles of PR? They're the actual techniques that work to land national media attention.
Absolutely.
My pen is ready to go.
I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. I got my computer. Go.
Okay.
Edge of my chair. Edge of my chair, as I'm sure all our audience listeners are.
Okay, great. So the first principle, again, I call them the new principles of PR because it's what actually works. The number 1 first principle is the archetype approach. Okay? So what do I mean by the archetype approach? Well, when I was getting started, and probably for most entrepreneurs getting started, people are telling them, okay, you need media attention and you need to tell your story, get your story out there. But maybe because I grew up in Arkansas on a chicken farm, that meant nothing to me. I had no idea what a story was. Like, what is a good story that media would want to hear about? So in the early days of my current business, I run a PR agency now called Appleseed Communications. Psychology Today magazine, okay? And at Psychology Today, they hired me to write headlines that would go out to about 7 million people every day. And over the course of that year, I wrote about 35 headlines a week for 52 weeks. Do the math, that's a lot of headlines. And during that time, I realized what stories do the best. What are the story types that get clicked on the best, that media tends to enjoy the best, that the readers enjoy the best, and I distilled them all down into 13 different story archetypes that anyone can use to plug and play their story and get results.
Can I guess one?
Go for it. Yeah. What would you suspect?
Genuine. Being genuine.
Genuine. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. So absolutely, authenticity is extremely important. And one of the story archetypes would be the unexpected twist archetype, okay? I don't have time to go into all 13 on this call. I'm sure we could be here all day, but I can give one or two. And one of them is the unexpected twist. And let's go back to the story of how I got started with the magazine. The fashion magazine was interesting, okay? Most people send a press release that is an announcement. Hey, brand new fashion magazine opened in New York City. Okay, that's mildly interesting, but it's not really a story. And this is why most pitches fail and how you can get massive results if you use one of the story archetypes. Remember when I branded it as the first no Photoshop fashion magazine? Automatically, I introduced an unexpected twist. For example, never before had there been a fashion magazine that did not use Photoshop. All of a sudden, we have something newsworthy. And in your own industries or companies, as you think about your own personal story, for everyone listening to this, if you think about your own personal story, your business, your startup, start to think about what you're doing differently that may challenge the stereotype, okay? Do you have something unexpected in your personal life? Or do you have something unexpected that you are solving with your company, okay? If you're a wellness coach, maybe you're teaching about how people can lose weight by hitting the snooze button 3 times. All of a sudden, you're looking at something really unexpected, and that is a great archetype to get featured. The second archetype would be what I call the low to high archetype. Now, this is the typical rags to riches tale that we have enjoyed since we were kids. But in the media, this is one of the most powerful archetypes that you can use to get featured. So let me give you an example of one of my clients, Image Think. They came to me when they were releasing a book, and simply put, they went into executive strategy meetings at Google and top Fortune 500 companies, and they drew the notes from those meetings, which is so cool, such a cool idea. But when they were getting started, they were starving artists, waiting tables. They had no budget, but they had a big dream for a company. And they drew the idea of their business on the back of a paper napkin while they were waiting tables. These days, that napkin is actually framed in the office of their multi-million-dollar company. So when they came to me and wanted media attention, I branded them with the low to high archetype. And it went something like this. These 2 women built a multi-million-dollar company from the back of a paper napkin, which is so interesting. It's, if you've struggled somewhere in your life, or you have, come out of nowhere, or, something maybe that you've triumphed over, that low to high arc is extraordinarily powerful. Using that headline type, I mean, we got them in MSNBC. They were speaking on stage in front of 11,000 people, keynotes with global leaders. I mean, that archetype is incredibly powerful. So those are two archetypes that you can use in your pitches to get results. And again, don't do press releases. Send actual pitches using those story archetypes. And that is the first key way to start to see massive results.
Wow, that was good. Now, how does somebody know which is the best archetype for their? I mean, typically I would think there's 2 or 3 different possibilities, right? I know we haven't gone through the 13, but there's usually 2 or 3 of those archetypes. How do you determine which one of those 3, if all 3 would apply, would be the best one?
That's a great question. Okay, so interestingly, most people have 2 or 3 that could work. If people are really creative, sometimes the archetypes can be layered. Okay, so I'll give you a case of a student of mine in just a minute, and she was a little bit of both, unexpected and low to high. And I'll give you that example because ultimately you want to match it with what the writer you're pitching would be most interested in. Okay, so that leads into the second principle. So we're talking about the 3 new principles of PR. We just discussed the first one, which is the story archetype. The second principle is what I call purposeful planting. And this is the antidote. This is how you fix the spray and pray problem. Okay, when you're just getting started, you know who your target customer is, you know what kind of thing they would probably want to click on. So you're building a story idea based on what they would want to click on, okay? And then you want to start looking for the exact media writer or reporter or producer, if it's in the case of television, who could be interested in that article, okay? So again, most people operate by spray and pray, but what if you could pitch only 1 or 2 in just the right way to significantly increase your chances? Then you can land the national breakout story. So one quick thing here, not all media outlets are created equal. There are different media outlets that are better for you depending on the business that you're in. So if you are a coach, you want to pitch top podcasts. If you are a product-based company, it would be great for you to pitch holiday gift guides and television. Okay, so anyway, I have a free gift if you are interested in getting a media cheat sheet or a media roadmap that teaches you the exact outlets that are best for your industry. Anyone listening can simply text the word media to the number 66866. So again, they can text the word media to 66866, and I will send that media roadmap to you. Just totally free, my treat. And it'll help you to clarify, okay, what outlets are best for me? What writer would most be interested in what I am wanting to talk about? And so let me give you an example of my student, Manisha, okay? Manisha is an example of both the unexpected twist and the low to high archetype. So simply put, she is a immigrant to the U.S., and she lived in 6 countries, literally around the world, before settling here. And when she came to America, she had such a hard time getting all of her documentation to become an American citizen, but she wanted to call America home. So what she did was launch a company named Ask Ellis, okay? So Ask Ellis is a company that matches immigrants with high-performing lawyers to streamline their immigration process. Now, when Manisha came to me, she had never been featured anywhere before, and she was struggling with her company. She had been building it for 2 years, but wasn't seeing any traction. And within just a few weeks, she landed her breakout media story with a full profile feature on her in Fast Company. Okay, this is huge for her. That feature doubled her traffic overnight. She secured clients and customers immediately. She started to get partnerships for speaking. And remember, we go back to the domino effect. So you land that breakout story, all these other outlets want to come to you. Oprah Magazine saw that feature, and they approached her and just featured her as one of their featured trailblazers in their magazine. And then a TV show saw that feature and asked her to be on their show. So you can see how not only does she trigger the domino effect, she purposefully planted and that was maximum impact for minimum time. Her story was an unexpected twist and low to high because she was, low to high, traveling the world, living in all of these countries, really struggling, and wanted to call America home. And now she's built this incredible platform that helps so many immigrants to never have to suffer with the same problem that she had. Okay?
We're going to be right back. We have to take a break. We're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM on the Ask Brien radio show.
You're going places, and College of the Canyons can get you there. It's not too late to register for fall classes. COC has 5 and 8 week term classes beginning in October and November. Pick up an extra general education class or take a class that piques your interest, like psychology, astronomy, dinosaurs, wines of Spain, and more. Want to take free classes? COC is offering free career skill classes this fall. Visit canyons.edu/class schedule now.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Don and Gino here. So we know you want to have fun learning about real estate and finance. You're going to want to tune in this Saturday, 9 a.m. to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station. Hot topics, as always, guiding you to personal and financial wellness. And that's right, you don't want to miss it. So again, this Saturday, 9 a.m., and then we replay it online Sunday, 9 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. right here on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Join us.
You already know Salt Creek Grill has the best food in our valley. Well, now you can have Salt Creek's gourmet meals catered to your event.
I'm Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. I'd like to introduce you to a new level of catering, featuring our catering director, Tamara Levine.
Salt Creek Grill creates memorable experiences, which leaves our clients and guests with a sense of awe and excitement. From menu development to picturesque presentation, you'll enjoy culinary excellence and creative catering.
Salt Creek Grill, a new level of catering.
Do you think taxpayers should pay for politicians' political campaigns? Assembly candidate Christy Smith does. Christy Smith supports raising our taxes. But guess where the money would go? Christy Smith wants to spend as much as $600 million in taxpayer money paying for the annoying mail-in TV that politicians bombard us with. Let that sink in. Assembly candidate Christy Smith wants you to pay for political campaigns, even for those politicians you disagree with. Let that sink in. Christy Smith would spend $600 million for politicians instead of better roads or better schools for our kids. Christy Smith is just wrong.
Women deserve equal pay for equal work. It's just that simple. That's what's good about Assemblyman Dante Acosta. Dante Acosta voted to require equal pay for equal work. And Dante Acosta voted to let every child attend pre-kindergarten. That's Dante Acosta. Bipartisan, independent, fair.
Paid for by Dante Acosta for Assembly 2018.
Santa Clarita's hometown station. Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Ask Brien Radio Show. BRIEN, KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We have a great guest today. Her name is Ashley Crouch, and we were discussing recently. The last person we had was you had gone over a case study about somebody that had gone all the way from pretty much low traction all the way to a TV show. I don't know if that was an interview or what happened there. I remember we went from Oprah magazine to TV, so I'm not sure what happened.
Yep. Yeah, so the concept here is, once you get your story right and you place it in the right outlet, again, I always encourage going big, being bold, then you trigger the domino effect, and all these other outlets want to also feature you. So at this point, Manisha's doing great. She has been featured by Fast Company, Oprah Magazine, and soon she will be featured on TV. And then you build momentum from there. You start to speak more. You start to get traction, share your media articles, pitch more people. So it is a much easier route once you get that media feature because, again, media is that foundation of your positioning for your business growth. So the third principle now, so we've been over the story archetype is number 1. Number 2 is purposeful planting. And number 3 is give before you get. Okay, so when pitching the media, especially if you're just getting started out, you may begin to feel like a sense of desperation. Oh, if only they will feature me, I will be able to grow my company. And you are nervous, right? Media can be very intimidating. But what I want to tell people is, we're all normal, just like everyone else. I get pitched all the time because I write for outlets as well now. And the best thing to make a great first impression is to genuinely provide value. So let's say, okay, but I don't have any media connections. How am I supposed to provide value to a perfect stranger? Well, you would be surprised how seldom people write a simple thank you letter. You can write an email or even an Instagram comment or a tweet that says, hey, I love your writing. You cover this like no one else, and it's so powerful for me. I would love to speak with you about an idea that I have. A simple thank you or note of gratitude is one great way to start building a relationship and demonstrating value. Another way would be, writers and people in the media always want their segments and their stories to do really well. So if you share them and you retweet them and you tag them on Facebook or on LinkedIn and, you're helping their stories to do better, they're going to be really grateful for that. And that starts to get you on their radars. Another option is to know how to write a pitch letter. Okay. So one of my friends writes for Forbes, and she says, Ashley, I get 3,000 pitch emails a week. 3,000 pitch emails a week. I mean, we all get a lot of emails, but I don't think I get 3,000 pitch emails a week. That's a lot. And so what she told me was, Ashley, none of them are stories. So when you write a pitch email, even if it's a cold pitch to a perfect stranger, and you demonstrate gratitude, so that opening sentence needs to be a note of gratitude, something about them, not about you. Something that says, I really appreciated your recent article on this topic, or I love how you cover this issue, and I've been following your work for 6 years. Something about them that demonstrates you've done your homework. Then you pitch your story archetype. Okay, this is the story angle that you've come up with, and that'll be right there, a breath of fresh air, because it is very rare to get a good pitch. offer a story archetype, and then purposeful planting. Pitch individual pitch emails to the exact writer that you want to partner with. No press releases. Those are some easy, simple ways that you can start to give value before you get anything. And you can even pitch other people before you pitch yourself. People are always looking for good stories in the media. So that is a great way. In those top 3 ways, story archetype, purposeful planting, and give before you get, those are 3 key ways that if you follow that roadmap, you can see success and literally land national media attention. To close, I'd love to share a story of one of my recent students, Erin, if we have time.
We have about a minute left.
Okay, perfect. So Erin came to me, and she had a course. She was a lawyer and wanted to streamline the process for many people going through legal, which can be very tricky, as you understand better than anyone, Brien. And she came to me, and her competitor was getting featured everywhere, and she was not. So we started working on her story angles, and within a week, she was featured in Mind, Body, Green, and then Entrepreneur, Your Tango, and on and on. And how did she do that? She actually leveraged Give Before You Get. Okay, so she started pitching articles that she would write. Instead of asking to be featured, she asked to deliver free value and write articles for these platforms at a national level. If you're an expert, an author, a coach, or running a business, chances are you have something to teach. And that's a great way to give before you get by writing for these platforms.
Gotta go. Thank you very much.
Grotto experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Your experience begins with a clay facial mask. Then